Hello everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good one. I know I am, but because I was playing Helldiver 2 with, like, my IRL friends, which has not happened ever, and that was it was a really good time. I think last time I mentioned Helldivers because I feel like I've been really enjoying Helldivers, and, I think there are a lot of things that Star Citizen could, learn from, not just Helldivers. I mean, a lot of games. I don't know. There's too many things. Yeah, so let's see. Well, we're going to the hangar. And I'm sorry, this might have to just be like the regular of what Star Citizen Weekly is going to be, is just, I'm getting ready for stream. That's just, so it means I'm moving to a place and maybe doing a mission. But no, not too much happened this week. I'm trying to remember what, like, was there even, did anything happen? I think we got some leaks, which, like, take with a grain of salt, dude. I don't know. But, yeah, no, I think that's really kind of all that happened. Which, yeah, like, for one thing, I don't know, I saw a thing forever ago with ISCs. Somebody was like, oh, we don't have, why, you said we were gonna have ISCs every week, and then we didn't. And we haven't had one in 4 months, and somebody was like, well, actually, they didn't say ISCs, they said video content. And they did have a thing last week, and it was behind the ships for the Basher. I don't know when the time frame of that is, but that is what was said. I'm hitting the thing to open the hangar, and it's not working. I don't fucking give a shit about huh. I don't give a fucking shit about Behind the Ships. Behind the Ships is a waste of the video budget. And I won't stand down from that. Well, I guess we got the super heavy armor bundle. Was that this week or was that last week? I don't know. I don't care. It was this week. Which, yeah, whatever. I'm not buying it. I don't really care about the super heavy armor, and yeah. Oh no, we got the roadmap roundup. Ooh, yeah, we got the roadmap roundup, actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I guess it's been a week, and it's always been a week. Sorry, yeah. So, okay. Which, actually, honestly, the fact that I forgot, well, I mean, I forgot, it's not much more than that, really, but kind of just telling, it's like, where my mind is at with things. New ships, I'm trying to remember, there wasn't, like, the ship leaks, they had, like, deadlines. The deadlines don't necessarily, like, oh, deadline of October 13th or something. It doesn't mean that we're going to have, doesn't mean that it's going to release on October 13th. It might release on October 20th or, something like that. Because it's an internal thing, it's a leak. I don't think there was anything, like, too crazy Aside from the Connie Mark V, because in lore it's the Connie Mark IV that we have currently. I'm honestly sick and tired of Mark IIs. Literally, the Hornet was just lol. Let's make the Hornet. Let's make the Hornet. Let's make a new Hornet, not fix the old one. The new one's going to be upgunned. It's going to just be better. There's not going to be any goddamn downsides. And, yeah, if you want to get this new thing, instead of us actually... Because it's like... With the Hornet, especially, it's just like, oh, well, yeah, it's like... Just upgun it, and it's, you know, suddenly it's actually kind of interesting now. But no... It has to be a new model. It has to be a new model, and you have to, you know, buy it. And like, that in and of itself was garbage. I think, I don't know. The Aurora Mark II, I mean, like, it's not necessarily bad that it's a Mark II, but it's that the Mark II is just a better version, and literally they said in the Q&A for the Aurora Mark II that, yeah, the Aurora Mark 1 doesn't really work well in the game, so we just made a new one and said fuck you to everybody who owned one before, basically, and said, yeah, go buy the new thing. And, like, the unfortunate, like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, really, because it's like, yes, you, buy this thing, but if it was the same price, you wouldn't be able to buy it. Right? Which, you know, also by that same token, make the Mark II $45 and... Not $45, but like $45 and, you know, 1 cent, or 50 cents or something. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's like... That would be more of a... Well, yeah, like, we're not going to change our whole system around, but we're not going to, like, charge you an arm and a leg if you want to just upgrade to the new thing. But that being said, I think... I don't know. What was the difference between the Hornet? Anyway, the Connie, I imagine, is going to be the same thing as the Aurora. The Aurora is just better. The Aurora Mark II is just better than the Mark I. Connie Mark V, I imagine, is just going to be better than Mark IV. And it's like, oh... Well, it's an upgrade. Of course it should be better. It's a fucking video game, and these exist at the same time in the universe. Like, they... That's a ridiculous argument. And I guess... What I would want if I was an Aurora owner, I would want to be able to look at the Aurora and say that not necessarily the Aurora Mark I having the same stats, the same weapons, the same cargo capacity or whatever, but just being able to look at it and be like, oh, yeah, like maybe I want the new ship, but what I have right now is still balanced and good and makes sense. If they upped it to 4 size 2 weapons... That'd be a good start. I mean, like, weapon balance, I really don't care about ships anymore. I think it's fucking stupid. How much the game focuses on ships as far as monetization goes, and it's like, I honestly can't stand your ship combat. I don't want any part of it. It's not a thing I want to do, and if there's an event where I need to do it, I won't do that event. Like, you know... Sorry, I'm just going on a tangent. But the Connie Mark V, I imagine, is going to be something drastically... It will have, like, the same practical layout, but it will look nothing like the Constellation Mark IV. Maybe it'll look cool, and I'm not gonna say the Aurora... I think the Aurora Mark II looks awesome as hell, but, it don't change the fact that it's kind of like that, you know, it's just like it feels of a cash grab, you know. Sorry. So many thoughts. Yeah. I'm trying to remember any of the other ships. I think there were a few interesting things, but they're leaks, so I don't really want to talk about them. I think there was some Drake Bruiser or something. I don't know. Like, it's just the names and the deadlines, so I have no idea when these things have been worked on or, you know, what shape or size they are. An Origin M60. Origin M60, which, yeah, how about you get that one ground vehicle done and just be done with it? Like, ground vehicles don't have a place, and they need a place, and they haven't figured that out yet, so maybe they're waiting for that, and then they're gonna make the M12 the really good, interesting thing, but I don't know. And they're going to be like, oh, you know, it's just a coincidence that, you know, we were working on all the new vehicle physics, and we just so happened to release the M12 when... Or is it the M12? I can't remember. The Origin ground vehicle thing. But yeah. Sorry, the only other thing really I can think to talk about is the Stingray, and I'm just like... Well... The Stingray, we got a leaked image of it, which, again, like, it could be fake. I don't think it's... I don't know, that one seems a little bit more, like, concrete. So, I wanted... I don't know, my friend was like, you're crazy for thinking the Stingray was gonna be a Crusader competitor. I don't understand that, because that seems like a Cuddy, Freelancer, Spirit competitor. Like, that's like one of the most popular fucking ships. I don't know. That just makes sense to me that it could be one of the things. It does not seem like it is, honestly. To me, it looks like it's about the size. The cockpit makes me think it's like... It's much wider. But it makes me think it's like an Avenger. Like, maybe a heavy fighter, maybe a medium fighter, maybe it has an interior, I'm not quite sure. But it does seem like, I mean, it's big. It's gonna have the Reliant problem. Almost certainly. Now, it does have fold-up wings, but I don't know, it's still wide. If you can land it in a size 2, hangar, it's still gonna have issues somewhere. I don't know. So, and you know, I don't know. I could be wrong. Again, it could be the leak could be wrong. It could be a bad leak. So, as far as that goes, you know, I don't know. But, again, like, I don't know, it's like an in-game... Not an in-game render, but a thing you would see on the shop, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, it seems pretty hard to not believe that. Yeah, sorry. The big news is that 411 is gonna have Nyx 1 and the and Genesis and Starchitect POIs. Which honestly, I don't give a shit about Genesis. I don't give a shit about the high fidelity the game wants to go for. I do care about having places to do things and potentially having more modularity. So if we're actually getting Starchitect POIs, and like they're actually like you can build with them. I thought they were already using Starchitect to build stuff, but apparently, anything they talk about or any new thing they show, you just have to wait 2 years before they actually start using it. And at least one renaming to Star something. Because it used to be Raw Star, and now it's Starchitect, and like... Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so, for one thing, I want to say again that when they did Nyx 1, you know, so, like, they took an uninhabitable planet, and they made it so and they made it terraformable. It's too close to the sun, it would be, like, blazing hot. It's outside of the green zone. Nyx 2 was in the green zone. There was... Oh, also, it's, like, a coreless world. There's no way you would be able to terraform a coreless world. And in the old lore, there was Nyx 2 that was in the green band, and they had... Nyx 2 is a smog planet, and it still is. And they had lore that there were some places researching how to terraform smog planets. So why they decided to do Nyx 1 as the, you know, green habitable world and not Nyx 2 is, like, proof to me that, like, nobody gives a shit about the lore, which is super depressing because, like, you know, they used to, for like 10 years, they would have lore posts every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. I mean, I'm sure they took a break at some point, but every Tuesday. I'm also, like, you know, about to die of dehydration, so we're gonna try and rush for the thing and probably die, and it's gonna kind of be silly. I turned off... Sorry, in Helldivers, C seems to, like, not work all the time, and I don't know if it's some really weird, like, interaction lock in that game, or if it's, like, my C, or my keyboard is, like, busted or something, I don't know. I'm getting worried that it is actually my keyboard, but anyway. Yeah, oh geez. Ooh, we do get some input, some desync there. Yeah, sorry. So the other two big things, I have to remember what they were called. There's the Hellion pistol, which is a Castak energy plasma pistol that shoots plasma goop, and it coats surfaces. It coats surfaces, and it you know, makes a zone of no. And that sounds interesting. There's also, I think the... Oh my god, what was it? The Verdict? I don't know. The Castak LMG, which honestly, I gotta admit, I saw it and I was really disappointed that it wasn't a Castak ballistic assault rifle. Castak, I mean, for one thing, there's no real rule or no real reason that companies couldn't make both energy weapons and ballistic weapons or any other kind of weapon, and they got your cousin. You know, the fact that we and Castak in fact does already make energy weapons and ballistic weapons, so it wouldn't be really too out of the ordinary. This is gonna be fun. Oh, I do get a zoom in. That's nice.
Yeah, we lost one. Oh, damn.
What was I gonna say? I'm gonna make a run for it. Oh, I do have the boom tube, but eh. Pistol sounds cool. I think the LMG has some kind of something. It's a plasma LMG, which, like, they need to differentiate what plasma is and what energy or laser is, because I don't, as far as I know, there is a difference, but they're, like, as far as I know, intellectually, there is a difference, but as far as I feel, there is no difference. And that's not good. That's very bad. And there's, like, a lot of things that they can do. One thing, like, Helldivers just... Of all the problems Helldivers has, it does not have the problem of having unique feeling weapons. Maybe some weapons aren't as good as they should be. Ahem, the Dominator, especially now that they have the 40k Warbond, and the Bolt pistol is just a better thing than the is just a better version of the Dominator, but also a secondary, which is insane. Anyway, I mean, like, I don't know. They're getting into the territory of adding, like, weird, funky guns. I could definitely think of a few things off the top of my head if CAG, if you're listening and you want suggestions. You know, certainly a gun that, a ballistic gun that has an underbarrel, like, an underbarrel energy attachment. Every time you shoot, it charges up the secondary, and then it, you can switch to it, and, you know, definitely a few railguns. There's, oh my god, railguns and stacked munition guns, which also don't necessarily have to be exclusive either. I can't remember, in Crysis 3, which is very relevant because at least some of the devs used to be at Crytek and worked on Crysis 3. I know John Crew did. Yeah. Sorry, there was a gun in that had, like, like 7 barrels and 7 projectiles per barrel. Not actually that. I think it was something crazy, like 10 barrels and like 15 rounds or something. So it was a cool and awesome weapon that wasn't really that different from an assault rifle, but did have this sort of unique thing, and you could have you could make that a railgun if you wanted. And there are definitely, some interesting things there. I mean, we do have some charge-up weapons that aren't super great. I don't understand why the Devastator... I don't know. I don't understand how you get a manually operated pump-action charge-up... A pump-action charge-up plasma shotgun. I don't quite understand how that works. I guess it doesn't really need to work, but also the Devastator fucking sucks, so, like, that probably should just be, like, a plasma thing, and plasma should just probably have its own special thing, like doing armor penetration and different armor penetration. I think plasma actually does have, like, a damage over time thing, but it's also kind of hard, because I think, like, I shoot a dude run out of ammo with a Karna, and then, you know, half a second later, after he gets hit, he dies. But is that because it has because it has a dot, or is it because desync, or is it because projectile speed, you know, times are just kind of slow, or, you know, something. Anyway. But yeah. I also did maybe glance a little bit over the whole Genesis and Nyx 1 thing. I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm just at the point where it's like, I gotta see it to believe it, and, I'm also like, well, I don't think I really want to be playing in Nyx, and like, I think I'm too casual to really, like, want to play in Nyx that much. If I'm gonna be completely real with you, like, it just doesn't appeal to me, and like, so it might be a cool thing. Like, I tried out, I think I might have said at one point that I wasn't gonna try out the Caterpillar boarding missions because I just, didn't want to go to Nyx that much. And then I did go to Nyx, and like, I don't know, the reason I don't want to go to Nyx is because it's lawless, and like, that opens up a whole can of worms, but at the same time, like, that's just, you know, like, PvP stuff, and I'm like, I want to avoid PvP wherever I can, and that isn't really a concern in the modern game, or in the current state of the game, but at one point maybe it will be, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, they also added, there's the heavy combat armor from the, like, from the Starware trailer that they had at CitizenCon, that I was like, the one that was like, that I was like, okay, why are you talking about a boss fight in a thing about, you know, like, clothing systems? What the fuck's going on here? Like, half the presentation, or almost half of the presentation, was just Zach Priest talking about a Valakar instead of, you know, like, Starware. But yeah, they're adding that armor, and god, man, I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired of Reddit, because there are some real good gems that pop up every now and then, but like, there's also people who are like, man, this new thing, I fucking hate it. And then you have people who are like, I fucking love it. And it's like, man, I don't know. For one thing, how many people actually dislike, like, the new armor? And then, like, how many people, you know, what percentage does Reddit, you know, represent and all that? Not that that's a new consideration, but like, I don't, like, I'm not, you know, chomping at the bit to get that new armor, but I don't hate it. Like, I don't know, man. And it's also a thing of like, dude, they teased this armor fucking 2-3 years ago. Like, calm down. Like, you knew they were gonna have this. Either you knew they were gonna have this, or you didn't know, and it's like, well, look, they actually have a thing that's in the backlog, and whatever. Oh, sorry, I guess I didn't want to avoid it. I think I did say last week that, yeah, I think we're gonna get 410 this week, and, yeah, shows what I know. Because, yeah, I mean, going into this week, we don't have a release candidate, which doesn't necessarily mean we won't get, a 410 this week, but, yeah, it's not looking great, but they've also done release candidates very quickly, so Yeah, it's either this week or next week. I have a feeling. They've been doing like daily PTU pushes, so I think we're there. I guess. Well, I don't know. I'd love for these things to be just 30 minutes, but I do really. I guess, like, the things I want the most, things that CIG could make me happy with, aside from more video content, I think that Star Architect is, like, the best, is my best hope. I want missions that I can go to the same place and I can approach them differently, and I don't really mind procedurally generated assets, and I don't mind, you know, being able to be like, oh, this is building, you know, 2A in their kit. Yeah, I recognize this one. But I just want... The thing I really, really want is just to be able to approach things differently with stealth, going in loud, and, you know, being able to, you know, also just go to a place and buy things, and, you know, and also, you know, other things as well. Just have, you know, different tactical approaches as well, which, you know, comes down to different gameplay, or different gunplay and all that. Oh, Arc L1 is where my regen is. I didn't reset it, even though I was doing shit in Nyx. Good job, me. Anyway. Yeah, I really do want to see shields. I want to see... I think I mentioned it before. I think one thing they should do... I want to have a gear/pistol slot on both legs. Right now we have a pistol slot and 2 gear slots. I don't like that. I would much rather have a gear/pistol slot on both legs. I think, I don't know, and this is more of, like, they've just kind of said this over the years, and I feel like this, you know, at some point, oh hey, they actually have this on the wall. I must have passed this over like a couple of times and not seen that. They've mentioned, like, you know, it would be cool if we had... It would be cool to do dual wield, but, you know, like, it is more complicated than just that. It is, like, you know, whole animation, whole making it work and everything, and, like, what am I doing? CQ. There we go. And dual wielding would be, you know, much more, dual wielding would be much more work. Oh, let's buy more ammo. What the fuck am I thinking? It would be more work than just animation, but they did have, like, a thing with bullpups, that were like, somebody was like, yeah, we could do bullpups, but it would be like this whole thing for animations, and it would be quite a bit of work. Then, like, genuinely 2 weeks, maybe a month later, they announced that they were gonna do a bullpup, which is lol. So I don't think that dual wield is out of the question. I just don't think it's something that we'd have to, like, really fight for, and it almost seems like it could be a thing that it would have to be a post 1.0 thing. But even without actual dual wielding, I do think that being able to, like, oh, okay, I have to have a pistol and a med gun, or a pistol and a multi-tool, or a multi-tool and a med gun, and then add some other things, you know? Some, like, enhanced deep scanners, or, you know, any number of things that I can't think of right now.
Nice one.
I do want shields. I definitely want ballistic shields. I've been fucking loving the ballistic shield in Helldivers, and yeah, I think it would just be really cool. I'm sure I mentioned it last week, but you know, it could either be, it could be a weapon slot, it could take up a weapon slot, it could be a gadget slot, and in the absence of having a backpack, it could take up a backpack slot. Which could also mean, actually, let's see. So, for those who don't know, right now, I could slap one of those mining gadgets onto the bottom of my backpack. I could do that. But I don't know if you can just put the gadget on your back, like in place of your backpack slot or something. That feels like it would be very logical, especially because the only time you use gadgets would be in ship mining. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't do mining, you know. You only use gadgets during ship mining, and you're not going to want to have a backpack while doing ship mining, because it's just going to be like, you have to either take the backpack off, or there's some shenanigans involved with the backpack with getting in and out of the seat eventually. And let's also just be real that, like, gadgets, I don't necessarily hate the idea of gadgets, but like, they are kind of ridiculous. Also, apparently, wow, okay. Alright, refinery, bit intense. Let's see. Actually, is there a category for it? Personal weapons? Ew. I think it is its own thing. Did I skip over it? Mining modules? Nope. Gadgets. Which also, I mean, like, by the way, like, come on. Having more gadgets, like, the door buster thing that they showed off 5 years ago in, like, a dev zoo. And, like, any number of things. Mines. God, mines. Scanning probes or something. Equip. So I can equip that, although now that I'm thinking about it, actually, where does it... So it is a gadget, oh my god. It is a gadget slot, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna go to my hangar and deal with, and try equipping it, and see if I can equip it to, something, or if it is just attached to the backpack. That is definitely one thing also that, like, God, I do want to jump pack. Something that's just the Atlas Geo, but just on foot. It can be less capable. That's fine. I think they could do a shield generator pack that has a shield generator, a size 0 shield generator, it has to have, like, a power plant, a size 0 power plant, and maybe a fuel tank. Like, no space for actual storage, and it is just a, you know, built specifically for being a shield generator. Same can be the case for the jump pack, you know. And, I think that would be, like, there's nuance that they can actually do. And, I don't know, these are, like, some of these ideas are, like, things that are just straight from other games, and it, you know, it's Star Citizen, it can be, it doesn't have to do everything, it doesn't have to, it can be its own thing, that's for sure. But also it does help. It is nice when they, let you, do stuff. Okay, does this look grayed out? Oh! You just have a gadget slot. Huh. That doesn't look right? Yeah, that doesn't look right, but that's okay. It's actually... If the gadget slot is attached to the armor, that's genuinely better. I genuinely thought it was attached to the backpack, because I never am without a backpack, which is kind of a problem in and of itself, that just... There's no reason not to have backpacks, no downsides, blah blah blah. Jump pack would be great. God, jump pack would be great. I think it would probably break a lot of potential designs, and that's just like, it's understandable, but also like, you know, you gotta like account for some things, I guess. I don't know. There would be ways they could play around with it. They might have to completely redesign Onyx. But there'd probably be a little bit of time where Onyx is just broken and it's like, lol. Bring a jump pack and you can break the game. And then they fix it and it's like, you know. Hey, remember the old Onyx and they, you know, when they didn't have jump packs? Lol. And I feel like I'm gonna just keep saying that over and over and over and over again until they say they're never doing it or they're adding it in. So, you know, I genuinely really do want those things. I mean, I also want melee weapons. By the way. Oh, more secondary, more. God, I love how in Helldivers you have like SMGs are just, you can just use one hand with the SMG and you can use it with a shield. I love that. That doesn't need to exist necessarily, but having more one-handed SMG things, or having like, here's a regular pistol, here is a machine pistol, and then having like a magnum pistol like a Desert Eagle, like, and just like, yeah, each company is gonna, you know, make like their own version of this thing. Like, yeah, that's good. That would be good. Add some more variety, and like, really, I don't know why they're adding the Hellion. For one thing, never forget, they did say they wanted to have a pistol with a medgun attachment. A handgun with a medgun attachment. So, you know, there is that. They could definitely, I mean, they could still definitely do it. But yeah, I'm just walking around at this point. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still like, well, you know what, I will also say, just running around the hangar, but, so Helldivers had their has like a, you know, current like campaign order. I really wish that Star Citizen would also have more things like that, because like, I'm going into the Void to fight like, even the, like, I like the Illuminate in Helldivers. A lot of people don't, and I think a lot of people are just putting up with it because it's a major order and like it's the thing to do and it's the new shiny content or whatever. But also like, there's some element of like, this is a thing that's happening, and I can actually go and interact with this thing that matters in the world. And I think also Helldivers, they have rewards for participating. It's just you log in while this is active, and you get the reward if you unlock the reward. Like, which I guess, to be fair, like, see, like, Xenothreat, the first Xenothreat did not have a reward, and, you know, it was just like, hey, go fight Xenothreat, protect Stanton, and, that was enough. But, it was enough back then, but, like, I don't know, having, like, and this is, like, a thing that would happen more with, Star Sim. Or like, yeah, like, oh, Xenothreat's invading. There's like this whole systemic thing where, yeah, they're invading, taking over this place, and they have reinforcements here, and yeah, go fight them and do this, and like, I don't know where StarSim is at, and I think we really do need an explanation as to what's happening with StarSim, and is it being dumbed down, and is it not? Because I've seen people talk about, oh, they're just doing dumbed down probability volumes, and like, go back, watch the 2019 Tony Zurovic talk with StarSim. He mentions probability volumes as a part of how StarSim works. Like, they can both exist. They do both exist. And like, yeah, it's a thing that like we gotta be real. And we need that information from CAG. I mean, like, because I think the last information I remember is that basically it was working, but it wasn't like StarSim is basically a back-end simulation of the entire universe and the entire economy of the universe. So, basically that part was working, and then, like, you know, it takes information from the verse, and then feeds that information, you know, runs it into the simulation, and then feeds back information into the thing. So if you kill 1 million Ninetales, then they're going to be like, oh shit, they killed 1 million Ninetales. They don't exist. They don't exist in this base anymore, at this outpost anymore, because they're, you know, dry. So like they have to either reinforce or they have to like move out or something. And like that, God, that would be so good and have such a... if they did it right, they could, it could be really interesting and really invigorate at least my interest in doing anything. Seeing bar go up, seeing like, hey, I'm actually having an impact on the world. That's good. And I think also if they try and do things with the morally gray thing where, yeah, you can join the Ninetales, you can fight the Ninetales, you can do whatever with them, you know, it's not going to be, you know, a linear thing like Helldivers is of, oh, we need you to be a Helldiver and go, you know, fight for Super Earth. No, it's like, nah, like, players are going to choose, you know... players are going to choose who gets to exist and who gets to not, which of course, like, Wicklow would not exist at all. Almost for all the wrong reasons of everybody hates him because CAG did a terrible job of doing that, and it's really not that Wicklow is a bad character, it's that CAG doesn't know what they're doing. I'll say they don't know what they're doing. Especially because, you know what's going on right now that I absolutely don't give two fucks about? Ship Showdown. That's all I'll mention about Ship Showdown, because, yeah. Carrick's probably gonna be in the top 16 or whatever. Probably top 4, because, of course. And, yeah, so... God, I really do want these things to be like 30 minutes, and I probably could have done something while rambling there, and so I apologize for that. But, oh, also fix crafting, you fucking cowards. God, sucking, like, all the life out of me now. I gotta see if there's any update in Helldivers, because... The last time I checked, the DSS had some crazy void shit going on and tapping outside the hull. Anyway. Somehow, some way I'm going to be streaming Star Citizen, today. Sundays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At twitch.tv/Railu, that's R-A-I-L-U with an underscore at the end. There's a link in the description. Fuck Linktree, but I am too lazy to change anything, so I'm just not going to put any art on Linktree. It's a stupid AI thing. So, yeah. Until next time, have a good day, great day even. Chowskis.